Welcome back to Drive, KFH Radio. Thrilled to be joined by Bill Engvall. You know him, one of the most famous comedians in the country. He'll be at the Kansas Star Casino Arena coming up June 16th. Bill, thanks for being with us.
Well, listen, it's great to be able to talk to someone who wants to help me out.
You, not only comedy, but you've done a little bit of everything in your career, including a tremendous showing on the 17th season of Dancing with the Stars. Can you explain to us how that process came about, the confidence you obviously had to have as a dancer, because I think you made it to finals week?
Well, let me just start off by saying this. There's a lot of things you see headed your way in life. That was not one of them. They called me, and I was actually going to turn it down. But my wife said, I don't know, maybe I ought to think about this. So I agreed to do it. Did I get in a stretching class? No. Did I get in a cardio class? No. Because I thought, it's dancing. How tough can this be? Well, after 13 weeks, after I finally got eliminated in the final, and by the way, the only reason I got as far as I did was not my dancing ability. It's just I figured out what it was. It was a popularity contest. Because if it had been a dance competition, none of us would have been asked to do it. So I got finally eliminated in the finals, and I'll tell you a funny story. At the end of the run, I added up my time on that dance floor, and I realized I just danced 6 hours a day, 7 days a week for 13 weeks without a day off. Now, when I did that show, I was 57 years old. Let me tell you something. 57-year-old men are not designed to dance 6 hours a day, 7 days a week for 13 weeks. We're designed to dance once a year drunk at a wedding. That's it.
Well, Bill, when I watch your comedy, and I really enjoy it and always have, it seems like you put together great stories and a lot of things about maybe the family or somebody else. So how did the Here's Your Sign come about? Because those seem to be one-liners as opposed to storytelling.
Yeah, that's a very good point. When I was Here's Your Sign, the bit was originally written that I thought stupid people should be slapped. But then one day my wife said, you don't look like a guy who walks around slapping people. So I was in a club in Omaha, Nebraska, the Funny Bone Comedy Club, and you were there for 6 days. And I worked out this bit about having a sign that just said, I'm stupid. And, boy, people hooked into it. And thank God they did, because I don't know. I doubt I'd be sitting here talking to you this morning if they hadn't. But, yeah, because Here's Your Sign was early on. But I've kind of, over the years, figured out who I am and what my storytelling ability is. And I enjoy this much more. I was telling somebody earlier that, when I'm there at the Kansas Star, I don't even really like telling people to think like we're going to see a comedian. It's more like we're just sitting around your living room and I'm the funny guy doing the talking. It's more like a 90-minute conversation that we just wander in and out of different subjects. And I find that that's what people like. It's clean. I don't do politics. I don't do religious stuff. It's because I figure people get inundated with that all day long. So I find people just like to hear stories that they can say, oh, he's just like I am, He does this and I do that. And so I always said, I know I've written a good joke when I see a husband or a wife kind of elbow each other like, oh, that's you right there.
Bill Engvall with us again at the Kansas Star Casino Arena on June 16th. Obviously, you're well known for a lot of talents, but the blue collar comedy tours that started in 2000 that were hatched by yourself and Jeff Foxworthy, and also included Ron White and Larry the Cable Guy. Take us back through that process, Bill, of identifying something that you wanted to do with Jeff Foxworthy and then making it happen.
Well, they had a tour out called the Kings of Comedy that was mainly for the urban crowds. And we were all talking one day. We've all been friends since we started in comedy because our paths would cross here and there. We say, nobody's doing anything for the people in the Midwest, our people. So we got this tour together, and I will tell you this, it was supposed to go for 10 shows. And it ended up going almost 10 years. It was just magic. Up until this last year, we held the record at the Nashville Arena for selling out in less than 24 hours. And, people just come out in droves. And I think it was because we provided something that they couldn't get. A clean, funny show with 4 different guys that all were at different styles, and people just latched onto it. And we all, I'm sure if you ask every one of us, every day we get asked, "Are we going to get back together?" And I never say never, but there was such lightning in the bottle. It's like you'd have to be really careful about it. But it was as much fun as it looked like we were having. You could quadruple that, because imagine this. You're on the road with 3 of your buddies, and they're paying you stupid money, and you're playing arenas. I mean, it doesn't get any. I'll tell you a funny story. Not funny, but it was one day I forget where we were, but we had all come in from different parts of the country, and everybody had chartered a plane, private plane. And at the end of the show, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but the promoter got 4 different got each of us a limousine. And each limousine pulled up to a plane, and I looked at Foxworthy and I said, "This is as close to being a rock star as we're ever going to get." And it was just that kind of magic around it. But we would, when we were on the road, we'd sit there and have breakfast or lunch together, and people just couldn't believe that we were just out in public. But that's just who we were, and still are. And we're just normal people who realized that we were blessed and that we loved what we do.
Well, Bill, you've done a lot of TV, of course. You've done the DVDs of your comedy tour that everybody has bought. You have done movies, and you just finished up a movie which is called Monster Party, and I'm thinking it's about a serial killer, and I'm going, is this comedy, Bill?
No, it wasn't, because I like to do things like that keep my fans on their toes, And it also, guys, it's good for me because it keeps me from being bored. But I will tell you that when the guy, I shot another movie called The Neighbor, where I play a guy that kidnaps and murders people. And the guy the director called me, and he was telling me this, the part. And I stopped him. I said, "You know who I am, right?" I said, "I'm just that goofy sitcom dad." He goes, "Yeah, that's who I want. And then you're going to scare the hell out of people." So we did.
It sounds like fun. So after all the acting, TV, and the comedy shows, which would you rather be doing? Comedy stand-up or more movies and TV?
Because stand-up, I'm in charge. Doing TV and movies is great, but, you also have some 20-year-old telling you what they think is funny. And, I've been doing this almost 40 years now. I got a grasp on what's funny. I love doing stand-up.
Talking with Bill Engvall at the Kansas Star Arena on June 16th. Let's talk a little baseball, because I know do you still do the blog for the Angels on Fox Sports?
That was fun, but I don't do that anymore. But, yeah, I love baseball. I played baseball when I was a kid. In fact, my dream was to be a professional baseball player, but unfortunately I lacked all 5 of the skills.
You were a zero-tool player.
Yeah, I was a zero-tool player. But I loved it. Oh, my God. When I was playing Little League the night before, professional baseball player, but unfortunately I lacked all 5 of the skills.
You were a zero-tool player.
Yeah, I was a zero-tool player. But I loved it. Oh, my God. When I was playing Little League the night before a game, I'd lay my uniform out, I took better care of that than I did my school clothes.
Are you still an Angels guy? Yeah.
Because that was the first professional team I ever got to see as a kid. So, and that's back when they were the California Angels. So, I've even though growing up in Texas, I still love the Angels.
Well, Bill, you started out as a disc jockey, which is very good. That's still what we are doing.
Well, wait. Let me clarify that. Let's just say my DJing involves the phrase, "Gentlemen, get out your wallets. Here comes Cheyenne." So let's just say I played a lot of Van Halen and AC/DC.
We get it.
But hey, it was a job.
And then it's interesting, too, as Jack alluded to, the DJ in quotations, but you wanted to become a teacher, but you got the comedy bug. Sounds like something you'd always had. It just kind of manifested.
Yeah, you know what? The good Lord blessed me, and I think he realized, and I've realized now that that's the reason I'm on this planet, is to make people laugh, make them feel better, and hopefully that's what we're going to do there when I'm there. And I love it. I love when people are laughing and cutting up. Like I said, it's like I love just telling stories to people, and I've been able to do that for most of my life.
Well, I'm sure you'll be great. I'm sure you'll be better than Jeff Foxworthy was a few weeks ago at the Kansas Star Arena. So we have that to look forward to.
Well, I appreciate it, guys, and appreciate you putting me on the air, and hopefully y'all get a chance to come out and see the show.
All right. We appreciate it.
All right, my brother. Take care.
All right. Thank you, Bill.